So just to keep you all up to date here with my mess, got a few things done. I had a problem with the neutral safety switch. It's not made right or something. So I'm waiting for another one to come in the mail, like an older standard one. I was gonna order a GM one, but it looked exactly the same as an old school standard brand. But I got, pretty much everything back in. I got the heater hose over there that I had off, and this is how I set up the lines over here. And I made this line. I don't know if I showed that in the last video. All right, and that's all tightened up. So far, so good. I got the tie rods in. I just got to tighten them up, figure out where I'm going to put them. I actually got the sway bar in. That's the biggest pain in the neck, is the sway bar, because it's you have to really cram these things in there. As you can tell, like a little piece went on the side there. They're just not made right. The original ones were much wider. That's why it's sitting deeper in there. But it's very hard to line them up to the thing, and it's even worse when you accidentally swap these for the wrong sides. So I had to take out the control arms again and do that. I'm gonna take apart the fan soon and rebuild it, because I have a new resistor for it, and I have a new motor, both GM parts, despite buying 2 extra ones. So I have 3 used ones that work. What else? Ultimately, yeah, I think I showed this. I may have made a video and forgot to post it, but I'm gonna put a piece of rubber hose under here, because it's awfully close. I was mangling up a little bit, so I decided to unbolt it from the top here, and I'm gonna cram some rubber in there, and I might even put washers on top here. For whatever reason, it's tight, but it's in. And ultimately, what I finally got in the mail, because I realized I had to get different fittings. Like, this ended up being not nearly as needing as much line for this, from here to here, and I use a universal, like another GM bracket. I put a piece of rubber in it, put a piece of rubber there. It's really not touching. I bent this up a little bit to fit it in. Can't do the master cylinder until I get that switch down there, solved. But no matter what, when I put it in park, if I start to go halfway between park and reverse, it'll start, but that's actually the neutral position on that. So I think a lot of these Chinese ones were, and this is a Borg Warner one, whatever, what are they, BWM, Borg Warner Motors, something like that, But it was like so cheap on Rock Auto, and then I bought another one. I had accidentally bought 2, but they were both basically the same. And I opened it up, actually. I had a lot of fun here. Don't worry, things are gonna get clean soon. I'm waiting for my toolboxes to come and get this car out of here, and then I can do something. It's here somewhere, but I crimped it back together anyway. But it's not really made right, I don't think it's lined up. I mean, the only other thing that could be is that something happened with the transmission where the whole shaft is twisted, which doesn't sound right at all, So that, I don't think it happened. I may have to take this apart. I had to unbolt this to get it behind the bottom of the thing there and start mounting everything underneath. But I gotta get the radiator fan done first. So now, for the first time, I've used the big hose. I'm using the standard size hose. This side here came out a little bit wanky. Whatever you want to call it. See, it buckles out. This side here, it didn't have the same effect because I was just slightly down on it. It's really, they don't show you where to really put it, So I went a little too far up on this, apparently. I don't know if that hole is supposed to mean something, but I've seen plenty of these things crimped before the hole, but it came out pretty darn good, I think. And, like anything else, you take the writing and you put a mark there. I marked it up first, And this is a special fitting because it's the 12 going to 10. And, but the hose, I wanted to use the 12 hose because that's what they use originally with GMs, And ultimately, it was curved in the box, kind of, with the roll. So, but this is the best I can do, But I figured I can always, this can be bent around over here. So far so good. So I'm going to get this hose bolted in. I'm going to throw some more oil in the system, and then I'm going to get to probably the fan, or possibly I gotta put that breather in, but I got a new one of these. I gotta cut a piece of hose because that's the hose that's sticking up on there. This hose is messed up, so I got oil hose. I can use the AC hose too, actually. This is the same AC hose. And there's a rubber grommet that goes inside this. And they don't make this anymore. This is the number. And I had to get it. I got used ones off the internet. Like, these are really old. But it's fine. Just nobody ever changes them because of that. Somebody actually changed it when it was still available. But I got to get the rubber thing. Either I'll take it out of there, but I ordered a bunch of different rubber grommets. I always do that. If it's cheap, I put it in the cart on Rock Auto because you never know when you're going to be able to get these things again. So I have to screw these guys back in because I had to move them because they were right there. So I'll put them in a different place for the glow plugs. They seem to be working because the car starts right up. I got to put antifreeze in it. I haven't done that yet. And it'll be very interesting if I can just charge the system. But I'd rather do it on a warmer day. It's cold the last 2 days. In fact, there was snow everywhere yesterday, but now there's not. But it's like 37 degrees today, the high. And it's going to get warmed up sooner or later. I mean, we're only 10 days away from spring, crying out loud. I got to change headlight bulbs, but I want to make sure everything's right with the AC. I got to put that rubber, rubber piece underneath there, piece of hose. That's all. Yeah. And then I'll probably I got to do a couple things with the Buick because I got other AC parts for that. And I want to get to making an idea for that. I just wanted to get this thing really going, and I'm just about there. Of course, I got to do all the work to the interior, but I want to get the car out of the garage and then open the doors wide. That way I can really, work on the car. It was very hard working like this. I got new springs for the rear. I can do that in here. Doesn't matter. I can do it outside too. It's just, sometimes it's easier to lay down when you're doing that kind of stuff. So I shall see. And that's about it. All right, I'll cut this video now, and I got to put the fluid in there. I got to check the training, check the training fluid in the oil. And this is really coming together. There's a lot of new parts on this whole project that I did. And I didn't think I'd be doing the AC all this time because I wanted the car to run, but I said, screw it. I'll lay the car up more. I hate having the car in here for so long and like not fixing like everything, So that's why I even did the brake booster. I'm not doing the master because you can tell it's like brand new. It's only a couple of years old, I think, but that's doable on the car. That's neither here nor there. And battery cables. I got fucking so much shit into this car, and it's worth 2 cents. All right, thanks for watching. Well, never quite fails. The breather that was here was not even the proper breather. It ends up being, this is for the 82 to 84, not the 85. And I know my Oldsmobile 98 has a square box for a breather, and it fits. This is the right, whatever the diesel version of the PCV valve is, I forgot what they call it. But in any case, this is, it was probably rigged in there, and, so, and the right number is like impossible to find right now, so this was hard enough to find, and I can't use any of them because it's only for 82 to 85. Who knows? It might even be the right one for the V8s, but the V8s probably have more room to put this guy on. It ends up being the angle is not tremendously different from one to the other, where that one comes out at an angle and ends up being straight, which it doesn't on this valve cover. If I just put the thing in by itself, right now I have the grommet out, it faces towards the bracket on an angle, and this one is like about the same, if not a little bit more. So that doesn't help. And It's really a bummer that you can't find these things, you can't get these things, and they're fucking emissions, and they make such a big deal about emissions in the last 30 years with everything. Oh well. I'm gonna do some more research, I guess. Alright, it's been a couple of days since my last video. I haven't really put anything together yet. If you can see, this power steering line, can't get, there we go. That fucking little bolt there, that was really hard to get on. I don't think it was on here because of the way the mark was on the old hose. I still have it, so it's just that it's tweaked. You know, it's a new hose, but it's not really bent in the exact same way it's supposed to be for the car, but it doesn't really fit right. This one here is the return line, which I found on eBay, which was for an 83, not for an 85. But I had to zip tie it right there because it got awfully close to the exhaust manifold. I did leave out the heat shield, and I guess it was partly to protect this. I also had to bend this up a little bit so it was away from, you know, everything that it was touching. It's good enough, you know. It's one of those things where you'll find out, you know, ultimately this thing could have been longer. Hang on. So this could have been longer, this line. I took the old, protective loom off it and put it on this hose. I'm moving it around a lot. It ain't touching. Before it was hitting it, and then when I tweaked the hose a little bit, it was totally off it, like it is now. But now when I put that zip tie there, it's really not. It can't really touch anything. And now that's secured. I got the this guy got to be mounted right over there, and I got to find a little hooyah for that, or just use one of the aluminum ones I have. And that's about it. Then I could put the fan in. I thought I was going to rebuild a fan. My fan actually sounds better than one of the ones I got, but one of the ones I got, or I should say, one of the ones I got sounds just as good as it. I jumped it. Man, these are strong fans, you know. I took them all down. This is the one that was in my car. I know that the plug was broken on it. It doesn't like click in place. So I'm going to use this guy over here. This first one here sounded like shit, you know. So if anything, I would rebuild this and use it. But these are rebuildable. You know, when I say rebuild it, I have another motor and I have a resistor. It's a 2-speed fan. Obviously, one comes on for the AC. I guess the low speed comes on for the AC, and then the high speed comes on if it gets hot. Because all I heard was the high speed, and man, that thing is high and it sounds loud. But I know the bearing was kind of screwed up in this one, and I have the bearing. I was thinking about changing it, but I'm almost thinking I want to put this fan in here, but it doesn't really fit unless I got a smaller, you know, fan, or have it farther away, which kind of defeats the purpose. So, you know, thinking of a way I could incorporate it, it would be kind of cool, but it's not looking that way right now. I actually wanted a 2-speed fan, and they don't really make it in aftermarket. So I would have to find something, you know, that has a 2-speed fan. A lot of cars have, you know, 2 separate fans for that reason. But I was looking into it for a little while, and I was like, screw it. I'll just keep the one. I got the 12-inch fan that I got, but I see. I'm always looking to waste money and change my mind as the projects go on. What else? Oh yeah, I took a better look at this thing again, and I ended up getting it in this thing because I have V6 valve covers. It's a little bit different bracket up front here that holds this guy on here. Okay, I just have the screw partially in. You know, and I put the old thing back in, which is a little bit bigger, and I saw there was a little bigger one online, like when you look up the one for the V8, and this is the one that the V6 front rear-wheel drive had, and it, you know, I could have taken this guy off, but I just left the radiator hose I got, you know, but it's a little hard to get off. But this is the same one that I got, and ultimately they were using this, which is basically the same as that. And I tried putting it on, and it's still, you know, it wants to walk out. Like right now, it looks like it's upright, but technically when it's all the way in, it's kind of in more, and that changes this angle, and this goes down. But if you bend the bracket down, it still pushes it out like this. There's no way to get a really good angle here. So if that was the right one for the V6, and I was looking at the valve covers, I thought the valve cover was different. You know, I'm thinking something has to be different here. And I just think it's kind of a wanky fucking thing, you know, unless the rear-wheel drive one actually fits. Because like I said, this bracket, I can kind of bend it around, where the other bracket, it doesn't bend around. It has 2 threaded holes. This one just has a little tit on there to kind of hold it in place while you just screw down the one bolt. But it wraps around the front, you know, and that's why it has more support and it doesn't go anywhere. But it was weird, you know. I'm like, I don't understand this. It's definitely weird, and I didn't pay attention when I took it apart. It didn't seem like a big deal, but I don't think it's going anywhere once I bolt it in. So it's just, you know, it's not like I like things like that to be right, you know. Don't ask me why. So next is the fan. If I get the fan in, I should be able to start this thing up at least and run it for a while. I gotta put antifreeze. What else? I gotta put antifreeze. I gotta put the I can charge the AC in it. But I got the whole dashboard apart. I really, like I said, once I get it running, I want to get it outside. But before I do that, I got to do the brakes. But I got to get that. It'll be a lot easier, at least, to do the switch for the Prindle switch. And I wanted to show it in the last video. It's right here. All this is a piece of plastic that goes in. And if I put this guy right here, this is park, the car starts. If I go, you know, I just use my judgment, you know, excuse me, the hiccups. I had a screwdriver here somewhere. Anyway, if I move it a little bit, it'll start in a park and reverse. However, this is not where the transmission shifter is in park. It's more like here. And I'm like, what the hell, did the whole shaft twist? I mean, that wouldn't sound right. You know, it's very hard to do that anyway. I would never think that would be possible. But the car started before, and I didn't bend it if it was the case, but I can't find the old fucking switch. So I don't know if I just said, I got a new one, screw it, because I didn't want to throw it out until I got the new one. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find a new one. Then I found it, and then I swore I had bought one, and sure enough, I found the other one. And now I put them both in. They both do the same damn thing. And like I said, I ripped this guy apart. Let me see if I can do it again real quick, because, you know, I'll take $8 and fuck it up. That's all it cost. The other one cost 20, and that's a fucking piece of junk in my eyes as well. I don't know, because basically the whole thing, when I rotate this part here hits the edge of the tranny. So there's only so much adjustment you can have. Even if I grinded out these holes, it probably wouldn't make it, because no matter what, I can maybe get it to start in reverse. And it really wants to start between reverse and park. But that's not where the park is. That's where the neutral is. So if I put it down in neutral, it won't start because it thinks it's even lower. So I don't know what's actually happening, how much more room it has to turn, or if it's twisting it, you know. I just don't know. It's so weird. I know there's a pin. You're supposed to put a pin in there. When, you know, I was trying to talk to a guy from the dealer, and he's like, yeah, I kind of remember, you know. But they really didn't remember, you know, so what am I going to do? Anywho. 1 second. Listen to the birds in the meantime. Come on. Doing pretty good. Well, I don't know how much you've seen of this. Doing pretty good, I think, since I'm holding the phone. Oh, just forced it open. So basically, that's all you get. It's all greased up, the foam pad in there, and it's just this guy going like this. And it's kind of hard to think that they screwed this up. I mean, I was really thinking it was something with the car, and I can't remember if I started the car in neutral, but I'm pretty sure I had at one point. You know, it's kind of weird, you know. And it works. It works perfectly when I moved it by hand. It's just a matter of this thing lining up. The keyway's there, and I don't know what the hell is up. So, you know, I'm a little shocked. And you know what? There's another adjustment on the cable itself. But the thing is that the cable, when you put it in reverse neutral, it goes all the way down to low gear. It's not like the gears aren't, you know, lined up inside. It works, you know, it's in the, it's basically, you know, going down and up into the right places. So I keep thinking it's the switch, you know. A lot of people don't change these things, you know. So that's reverse. You hear it click in. That's neutral, right on the money. That's drive. And that's 2. And that's 1. So if the shaft was bent, somebody had, you know, adjusted it. But it's not like the switch would be able to compensate, though. That's the weird thing, you know. So I'm, like I said, I got an old standard one, because you see these things here. It says there's some kind of piece of plastic that sticks out of this hole here, and they say, you know, reset hole. That's just, I was trying to push it at first, but then now I took it apart. You see there's that little semicircular hole, and you pretty much line it up there. I guess that's so you don't break the switch. You know, like you're basically holding this in, I guess, neutral or something like that, you know, and then you would see something stick up, but you can also stick a wire through there. He was talking about putting a wire, this guy from the dealer. See, and there's a little space there for a wire, but it's funny when you look at the original GM ones and stuff, and I just debated buying a original GM, because a lot of times with certain switches, they didn't make them aftermarket, they just put the dealer one in the box, and that's kind of like what I was hoping for, because it looked just like it, and had weird numbers on it. It's either that or Standard makes them for GM back then. It's one way or the other. It looked identical, and it was half the price, so I'm like, you know what, I don't know what's wrong, so I'm going to buy the cheaper one still. I don't never learn when it comes to that stuff, but I still, you know, I think I used good judgment there. Here, I bought the cheapest one I could here, and then I bought this this other one. I think it was like $20 from Rock Auto, and the one I think that one is the more expensive one I took apart. Hang on, is this a cushion? Yeah, but this is further. The other cushion was much bigger, and it wouldn't really plug in. That's how heavy the cushion was, because my plug is questionable. But it was. If I take the unit off, I take it off the shaft and just turn it, boom, starts right up in park, and I turn it a little bit, doesn't start in reverse, and then it'll start in neutral. It'd be easy if I had a friend to turn the thing for me, to be sure, but I've done it only a dozen times, and I'm aggravated with it, you know. Shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't be wrong. You know, there shouldn't be something so fucking fucked up, you know. It can't be any different of a transmission. Pretty sure of that, you know. There was a different switch, though, available somehow, and it doesn't have the same mounting holes, though. So I don't know. I think, like, this switch is supposed to be 85 and up, but then there's another switch that's like up to 86 or something like that, and I was like, but no, actually 84 was a switch that was on the bottom of the column like the other ones, but there was some other switch, but it's not listed for this car, but there was another switch available. Like, if you look it up for like a Buick Somerset, which is something I've worked on recently, it's a different switch. And I'm like, how is that different? You know, so there must be different mounting holes. Must be a portion of the T125 tranny that's a little bit different. And I'm beginning to think that it was like that. But then when I look at the pictures of how it looks, there's no way that the holes would line up. So these holes line up. Makes me feel that it's right and just made wrong. But I guess I will find out soon enough. So, all right, just enough boring details. Let me get to doing something else. All right, thanks for watching. All right, so she's running. So far, so good. Blower motors don't work. I was just trying that out. I guess I overfilled the power steering. I didn't notice that leaking before, but probably when I shut it off is my guess. It's always a mess anytime you do anything like this. Hopefully it's not leaking. But I probably went way too high on it. The thing is I filled it close to the top because I figured it would go down, but then I forgot I might have turned the wheel a few times, but I still didn't think it was going to, you know, get down to the level. So That's the hole right there. So it's probably coming through now that it's warming up. No big deal. Better to be overfilled than underfilled. But everything looks pretty tight. I don't see any leaks anywhere. So that's all good. I guess this thing takes 6 quarts of oil because I had to add a quart. But it's probably because the oil cooler lines were empty and all that stuff. So everything's warm. I haven't seen the fan come on yet. I'm waiting for that, mostly. I don't know. It's only 50 degrees, so it may take a while. But I haven't tested out all the stuff. As somebody, I think the radiator was working because that was this thing. So this is new. But there was something cut out of here. One of the wires were cut out of here, but it went to this. So I think this is the fuel pump relay, and that's why it was wired weird over there. So that worked right off the bat with the key on. So I think I'll be good because the fan worked before. So unless this is the wrong fucking relay, you know, which it says it was the right one, and I believe there's a part number on here. It kind of is a little different. This one was more solid with the things here. I'm not even sure if it was really hooked up to those 2 bolts because it's like tight over here and it gets wide over there, where this thing here was more rigid. You know, but I had to use the same bolt for the this guy, the accumulator. And so far so good. First time I've run it significantly since November, or even before that, a month before. I got to tie up these things. They're just so massively big. I got to make them go somewhere. This came out pretty good. This is not really hitting anything because they're rigidly tightened here. The next thing is to charge the AC and hope the whole circuit works. Well, I still got to put the 2 bolts up here. I got them started, but I'm going to put rubber underneath there first, and then I will tighten them up. But I got to do that now that everything starts shaking. But it ran a little rough, but in my defense, I had to kind of start it in reverse, and the tranny was acting weird, so there was probably some kind of load on it that was not normal. So hopefully that's all it is. The tranny seems full now as well. What else? That's about it. You know, I got to get to eventually doing this interior, which I really want the car on the ground for, but I got to button everything up, finalize it all up front there, and I'm going to put the rest of the heater box in and the panels underneath and all these crazy gauges I decided to put in, which I'm almost having second thoughts about, but just to get the car done. But, you know, and do it at another time where I know everything works. It kind of, you know, you want to get everything done. You know, all your little hop-ups and everything you want to get done. But, you know, if you're not sure about the way something's going to work, you know, it could be a little funny. Now, I remember my blowers working, that they're not working now. I did not change the high blower relay. But I popped this off and I jumped it and I got it to run. But that was because I didn't even have the key on, though. So that was just more like running because I just jumped it. I almost feel like there's something not allowing it to, I'm going to leave this on here. Almost feels like something's not allowing it to, you know. And that's a new, you know, blower resistor. A new blower resistor, but I got to look at a diagram or something, or just jiggle the wires on the inside. I always feel funny about leaving the key on because of the glow plugs, but I'm hearing it click, but I'm not hearing it click off. But when I come out and check the power, it's not on. And that's why I have a feeling that because I put it in reverse, because it was starting in reverse, it was kind of like triggering to not turn on. That's why I don't think it was really going on. But I can unplug it and then, you know, do all my wiring checkups, you know. I still got to tighten these. So it's getting there. It's running. This came out good. Vibrating a little bit, but you know, that's the way this car is going to be. A lot of things vibrate. You know, I might be able to like make something come off this bolt, hold it here. It kind of was just laying on top. This was pretty much all rubber here because the thing ended here and then it wrapped around here and came along here. I didn't want this to be too much higher, you know, because I was afraid of the hood. Now this goes down way below, but this starts up high. So this is good. And if it hits the hood, that's fine. I may actually put a piece of, you know, rubber or something like that, or the foam over this. Number one, to keep it cold. Number two, to, you know, prevent anything from the hood. I'm not even sure where this light switch is going to actually hit. It looks like it'll miss it. It's hard to say. As you can see, the insulation has seen better days. Still got to put the wiper motor in. I was debating whether or not to put the old one back or not. The old board, but I haven't been able to find one. And I found one for the other car, and I was thinking I should hack this out and change it if it's the same. I haven't even looked at it, so. Where am I getting these drips from? I must have dripped oil on the way in because I added an extra quart. Or I put this up here. Sounds good to me. All right, before I wake up the neighbors, I'm going to shut this off. Well, I'm glad I just took a second to look at this. Woohoo! A heater and AC fuse. I don't think that just blew. I hope it didn't. It probably happened when I did have power hooked up, but the wire's exposed because I rewired that plug. So that is probably the case. I mean, which one is this? Oh, the wiper. I can take that guy out. That's a 25er. Oh, did I take out the wrong one? Yes, I did. Jesus. Okay, I don't know if you can see anything. Oh, that doesn't help. God damn it. What, I take out a crank set? Oh, it's instruments panel. Okay. Right now the key is on. It's like on the 3rd speed. Boom. Came on. It's on the 2nd speed. Okay, I can hear the low. And that was the speed we were just on, the medium, or the 2nd. 3rd one's blowing. And boom, the high. Very nice. Very nice. I know not all of them worked. And it didn't matter anyway, I had no heat. So I had bypassed the heater core. Alright, very good. Job well done. Now I gotta get it off the car, off the jack stands soon, and I got one more like little hold down clamp for the speedometer cable, and maybe I could put the shocks. Oh, did I do the shocks? No, did I get the line in there? I think I did them. Yeah, I did them. I didn't do the springs. I'm gonna do the springs. Oh, look at all that rust. Woohoo! I don't know if that's just a hole or it's supposed to be like that. Almost seems like it's supposed to be like that. But the guy told me it was a little rotted over here, but this car needs to be cleaned up and treated somehow after spending all this money, you know. But I don't care. I like the car, you know. It would have been nicer if it was in nicer shape, but you know, maybe I'll get another one day. But this one is all I got. And I'm definitely going to change those springs, and I know it's going to be pretty easy. I don't know. I think I have to. Oh no, I can get it out. You know, without taking out taking off the tires. You know, it's going to be a necessary thing to jack it up and let the shock hang. I still have to do the shocks. I know I had a feeling I did them because I couldn't find them. Like, did I do them? Like, yeah, I definitely did them. I got them out of the way last time because I put new brakes on. I was just trying to get rid of some parts. I had so many parts for this car. You know, I did most of them. Now I have all the rear brakes, so it's like, should I just do them also? Since I got the brakes, you know, I got the master cylinder off and I'm going to bleed everything, and everything's new in the front. So I probably will just take off the tire, do the spring one at a time on each side. That side's going to be a pain in the ass though, so I might just wait to get it outside now that I think about everything. Might just be easier. But I think it looks worse than it is. It's like it's corrosion on top of rust and the paint's coming off. We get a really good pressure washer and try to nail it, and then try to, you know, treat it and then undercoat it. It may not be so bad in places, even if there's some more advanced rust. It may not, you know, be, you know, structural, and then and blah blah blah. I got another car I got structural rust on that I have to fix, but I think it's gonna be easier than I would fix the rust on this. But I ordered a couple of welders, and I ordered a plasma cutter because I want to be able to cut out the rust that might be in a hard place, and because you can't really do it, you know, it's hard to treat it all, so it might be able to have more success with that with the other car down there, that Opal. I'm debating which one do I do next, the Opal Manta or the 73 Charger. The 73 Charger has its own rust problems and everything, but the motor's not going to run much longer the way it is. And I bought everything to make it a stroker. And what else? And that's it. I have to rebuild the tranny at the same time. Any more coin for that? Like, I have a lot of the parts for the Opal, a lot of new parts. I laid the engine in. I have a lot of good things going for that car. I just stopped when I was putting the transmission in because the chassis was rotted. You know, it's not a chassis; it's a unibody like this car. So I'd kind of like to do that one since it's been sitting here longer. The Charger was given to me by my friend who passed away, but about a week before he passed away, he signed the title to me. And, you know, I want to get it running for him as well. But it's going to take a little bit of money, you know. Like I said, I bought a set of heads for it, better heads. I bought the crank. I mean, I could technically, if I can pull the engine and transmission out, and then start to get going on that, that wouldn't be so bad. I could do that and then put it on the side, but I have to pull both cars out, get the motor and tranny out of the Dodge, which shouldn't take that long, and then push the car, you know, behind on the side of the garage, and then put the other project in here. But that, you know, I have to clean this garage first. It's a mess, as you can see. I got a big pile of everything, but I'm getting 2 new toolboxes, like I said before, and it's going to really free up a lot of tools that like end up on the floor. My specialty tools, there's no place to put them. I try to stack them, it doesn't really work. I got that little toolbox there. That's actually a really big toolbox. Like, I was going to buy it to put in my car, but it ain't working. It's empty. But I have 2 side boxes that I ordered with 2 44-inch boxes, and I figured I'd put that on top of the 2 of them in the middle. So it'll be like 3 toolboxes, you know. And even if I have a couple of junk drawers in them, not that that's my goal, but there's just so many little trinkets and shit that I save and whatnot, and it ends up being in places that I shouldn't have. And then I have this guy over here. I bought this because I thought I was going to roll around basic tools, you know, to get going on things, you know. But it's hard in a smaller place like this, you know. Not sure, because it takes up, you know, floor space. But I'll see, you know. I'd like to use it. I got this pulley system up here, putting stuff up top, and this thing here, I'm using it as a shelf now, but you lay it on, I have guy wires, and it actually will lift up and take up that space up there for the most part. That was a weird contraption I had. But I got a Chevy Camaro motor, 2.8. I really bought it to have the transmission, but then I started thinking about putting the engine in a classic car with the computer and everything. And I got an extra slant 6 engine there. So whether I get projects for it or not, I'm not sure yet. Kind of cool to put a slant 6 in the Charger, like temporarily. But I think that has the 73. Yeah, I think the 73 mounts. Yeah, it has the 73 mounts, 73 and up mounts. So it's different mounts. But they make the mounts go the opposite way. But nobody puts a slant 6 in place of a V8. So I would need a slant 6 K-frame, which I don't even know if it exists in a B-body. I guess it does. I have to get a whole different K-frame. It's not worth it. It'd be kind of cool to drive it around temporarily, but I guess the best thing would be just to put a small block V8 in there. If I think I have a small block transmission too. So that's another thing, Yeah, I get involved in Oldsmobile diesels, all kinds of Buicks. I specialized in not just Dodge, but a lot. My first car was an Oldsmobile, so like I know a lot about Oldsmobiles. And then I got into the diesels, which I never thought I would get into. And like I said, I know about Mopar. I have a lot of knowledge about a lot of stuff from the A's in particular. And I have an insane sense of memory of remembering things, except for where I put shit. So this is all got to get clean. Like I get a fucking box of clamps there. I got so much stuff, and I get frustrated, because of a lot of things. I wish I could put a lift in here. Probably could. I don't think my landlord would mind, but I couldn't have the noise. Like if it's hot in here, I couldn't have the garage door open with the noise. Somebody would complain. They complain already. So the object is to get that toolbox on the other side in the front, so that when I do my minor jobs, I have some tools over there. And because I have like 15 fucking 10 millimeters, it just I couldn't even find one in the toolbox before. Actually, I did find one, but that's about it. And I like to have like 3 sets of tools in 3 different places, so I'm not carrying tools from end to end. And I'd like to have a basic set of tools on this as well for rolling it around. I want to get rid of this thing, and there's another one on that side. It's not really good for storage. I was thinking about both big, long, 6-foot heavy-duty ones over here. I got one at my house that I don't know if I want it there. It's not as good as these, but it's big like this, and it comes apart relatively easy. Not 100% sure I want it there. I may want to bring it here. But the 2 toolboxes with the side things should fit all in this area here. Then I want to make shelving above it or move those up. Something along those lines. And I have the other thing is I want to put a brake lathe on there. I have a brake lathe that, I had, and it worked when I brought it here, but then the chain fell off, and I never touched it since. I have even the giant 8-lug adapters. I bought a lot of shit for this, but it's very flaky. It's old, and it was a miracle I got it running. It was not running for like 30 years, the guy had told me, and it was needing, a lot of things greased and whatnot, and it's just collecting dust now. And it does drums and rotors, but it's not practical in this little spot here, so I was thinking about another corner in the next to the toolboxes. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'd like to put a toolbox here. I think that other toolbox, the old one, and put it here. I think it would make more sense for when I do things when a car is in backwards, and use the big toolbox for main projects on that side. So I'll think about it, and but I gotta get one car done at a time for now before I make any more mess. That's one thing for sure. All right, thanks for watching.